but the idea of going into an event or pursuing a goal basically with a checklist and a game plan versus with a free floating, I guess,
serendipity.
Yeah, just allowing yourself to let fate decide who you interact with and let serendipity form the connections for you. When do you think about doing one versus the other? I
always do serendipity, and I'm not a good networker, is what I've learned. So our friend, who is, in my opinion, the best networker I've ever met. He's just punched out of his league in so many times, and it's now just habit for him. He came in with a game plan. He had a full schedule and found ways to give and create value for the particular people that he wanted all conference. The other people that I know who have done that, they go in with targets, with people that they want to and things they want to invite them to or connect with them over, and they are better networkers than me. And I assess that in terms of like the value of their business grows much more than ours does from the conferences that they go to, the connections that they make, the partnerships that are formed there. I just don't want to do it like that. Like that to me, it primarily views the event, which as a business opportunity. And I don't like viewing conferences that way. I like to, we wound up just shooting the shit and saying nothing with a couple of guys for, 20 minutes where we were just literally riffing off of each other's jokes. And I was like, there's no business necessarily happening here. We could talk business. And that is, I paused and I was like, should I be doing this? I came to this conference. I was like, screw it. This is more fun for me. So if you want to be a good networker, don't be like me, because I am a bad networker. And I don't want to be a good networker given the things that I would have to change in order to do it. What do you think?
What are the things you need to change?
I would need to, so the thing, and maybe this is a reframe. I'll talk to our friend, because he actually is, in my opinion, like a super genuine, connecty, nice guy. And he does want to connect with people. But in my view of it, which I would love to get his take on, you primarily care about how people can help you. And I think that he also is he's thinking, how can I help the people that can help me? Is I think actually what he's thinking.
I was just going to say that. He leads with how he can help them,
but he targets
who can help him.
Correct. And so, it is, because he really does go in trying to help these people. But it's selecting the people that you'll connect with based on if they can help you is not what I want to do. I talk to people that I enjoyed the conversation with, and I sat with them for an extended period of time, and they had 300 subscribers and enjoyed the conversation and helped. And I don't think I will ever get anything back. And that is where a lot of my friends have come from. They're like people that can't help me with my business, but I'm able to do that. And then I guess that's the other value for me, is that the best thing that can come of this for me, given my particular circumstances, and this is not everybody, would be like one more close friend that wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe not, though it would be nice, like a business person who I didn't really connect with that we had to then maintain contact with and like do a monthly call about a topic I wasn't that interested in. And that's the other thing that I don't do, is you do better than I do, is these networking events, I realize these conferences are really good for first contact. And then what ultimately will like create value is an ongoing relationship that usually has either planned or like you'll do a mastermind with a group of people, and that keeps you in monthly or bi-monthly contact. That's something that I just don't do. I see people at these events that I haven't seen for 3 years. I'm like, hey, what do you think? You are a better networker than I am, by the way.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to goal. The big thing for this conference has been goals, which is I was like, what's my goal? I want to try to figure out how to replace myself as a writer, right? So I've been working with a woman on doing that. I want to see if anybody has done that. And no one at this conference has any interest in that. These are all people who are very focused on YouTube and growth, and they're not so much, I don't think they think of themselves necessarily as like CEOs and business people or business owners. And I think that they are that's not a problem they've ever tried to solve. So a lot of these
Can I pause you real quick? You actually did something really good at this conference. You came in with one question. You're like, look, I'm going to have a conversation, but there's one question I want to ask.
Yeah.
And you asked that question like, hey, have you ever heard of anyone who's ever replaced themselves? And that is something that I could easily add to my repertoire that wouldn't make me inauthentic, that I just didn't do.
Yeah.
But you did a good job of that at this conference.
Thanks. Yeah, and so then the conference itself, I haven't found anyone who that resonates with like a lot. So I think in terms of forming connections with people, if I came in, I was like, dude, we're about to, or I don't even know what our subscriber count is. We're about to hit 5, or we just hit 5 million subscribers. And my goal is to hit 10 in the next 12 months. And that's what I'm here for. I think a lot of people have been like, dude, I'm at 5 and I'm trying to get to 10, or, oh, I just got to 10. Let me tell you how. And so I think there'd be more excitement around that topic. But when I'm like, hey, I'm really trying to figure out how to just be the CEO and not the guy that writes the videos, that's a very foreign thought that's not appealing. And so it doesn't create that same like, yeah. And so often I just have conversations with people. I'll flag that out and they won't know how, and have not share that goal. And so then we just end up just talking about something. We're just like, all right, well, you want to just talk about surfing? Because at that point it's like, well, this isn't gonna go, because I'm not looking for that 80-hour grind, that Mr. Beast grind that's going to get him to be the biggest YouTuber on the planet. And so that's where at that point, it's like, well, we have to connect about different things besides work goals, because our work goals aren't the same.
I think I was reflecting on the interactions at this event. I was like, I did a good job in the conversation module in breaking down what people connect over. Because I was like, look, there's 3 things. There's these habitual statements and questions. Where are you from? What do you do at this conference? You know, what brought you here? All that kind of stuff. The news, and some people will then just throw in like, how's local sports team doing? Some weather we're having. All of that, like, I don't know what to say. And that's to move towards one of 2 places. Fun banter, which is just enjoyable and is just fun to do, or values. And we are fine on the fun banter. We can do that. What you want to do is get out of those standard stock questions quickly into one of the other 2. And that's what the conversation module is about. So we would hop into fun banter and then pretty quickly into values. And then what we were finding is that our values, and I can sense it, do not resonate with many of the people there. There were a handful that we were able to connect with on some things, but that was something that I took from this, is not a problem, but I was like, yeah, it's going to be tough to form really interested connections when they want that grow, and we're like, yeah, I'm 80-20 at best.
Or even like, there's a company, and in terms of the fun banter, is like guys I would super get along with. I would go on a snowboarding trip with them, and it would be super fun. Like, just really you could tell like good vibe between us. And then it's like, okay, let's chat business. Oh, we're someone that can help you get sponsors. And I'm like, I make 2 videos a month and I have my own product. I really actually have no interest in new sponsors. It's the truth. And so then you're just like, all right, well, we flew into LA to try to find creators that we can form this business relationship with. And I'm like, yep, that's definitely not us. And so because it is a conference that's work focused versus a friend's birthday party where you were meeting them, you can tell it's just kind of like, all right, yeah, well, this is like, I'm not here just for giggles and lulls and good improv games. And so after 20 minutes of that, it's like, okay, it's time to move on and go find someone who will want sponsorship money.
They were interested. I mean, those particular guys, they wanted to follow up. But again, they have business objectives that.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like those guys.
Yeah.
I think those guys were dope. I'm just saying it's a, in terms of like how valuable has the conference been, we won't know for 2 years because the short-term stuff is, there hasn't been a match. But the reason we went is because there was a guy that you met at a conference 4 years ago who shot you an email 2 years later that totally transformed our business. So I think the other thing I was thinking about with this, and people maybe this will resonate with them. You don't even know how valuable a relationship is. And so I think when you just try to front load that value, you don't know. And I actually don't think it's necessarily bad. If you meet a bunch of people and don't stay in touch, then it's like you never went to the event. But if you meet people that you do connect with and vibe with, but there's no short-term value exchange to be had, that doesn't mean it was a failed networking event. And if you keep in touch and, just stay in each other's orbit, there's a chance that in 2 years, one of you guys will double the other's business with an email. Yeah. So
I'm realizing that the advice that we often give about business is like, look, there's many ways to succeed in business. The way that we know is we have to be passionate about the topic and then we can put in the required work to overcome things. It's the same way I approach relationships, which is like, look, I can't maintain a relationship just because it makes me money. Like I will not put in the effort in order to do that. So the only relationships that I can maintain are the ones that I would maintain independently of that. And then, yeah, maybe they make money down the line.
Yeah,
maybe, often they don't, but wind up being friends or.
And it's hard to say. I mean, with this guy, if you had been a year in, you're like, what has this relationship gotten us? If that's how you want to view a relationship, nothing. 18 months in, what has this relationship gotten us? Nothing. 2 years in, completely transformed the business and made us a ton of value. Like you just didn't leave the conference knowing that was the case. And so I left going, how could I possibly say if this is going well or not? I would have to be from the future.
Yeah. And that presumes that the value is, are we earning money? And, you know, hopefully, truthfully, I hope I met some people that I liked. Hopefully you make a friend or two, you know?
I got a surf, but as is tradition, I left with one more surf buddy.
Yeah.
That is the thing that
I talked to a couple people that are like, yo, maybe guest appearance for D&D. I was like, fucking awesome. Like that would be great.
I've met a TikTok guy who's apparently close friends with the TikTok guy that is going to be on D&D, which was funny.
Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.